Hi guys, it's Mars here and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be covering TOMB Finance. I've been getting a lot of questions about what's TOMB Finance, how do I stake on TOMB Finance, and in today's video I'll be running you through everything TOMB to show you how to get started and how to stake. So in this video I'm going to go over what TOMB Finance is, so how it works, how it operates. I'm going to be going through the risks and rewards of using TOMB. I'm going to be showing you how to stake on TOMB Finance and also how to stake using an auto compounder. We're also going to run through the risks, the benefits of using an auto compounder, and I'll run you through my personal strategy for TOMB Finance staking to help you guys get started or enhance your TOMB Finance strategy. Just before we get into the video, I want to say this video is not financial advice, it's for education purposes only, and also it would really help me out if you subscribed, hit the like button, and turned on that notification bell so you don't miss any new content from me. We know the crypto landscape is changing all the time, yields and staking strategies are changing all the time, so if you have that notification bell on, you can stay up to date on the latest trends, and I'll try and help you guys out as things are changing in crypto. So let's get straight into the video about TOMB Finance. So first we got to start with what is TOMB Finance, and the best way that I can help go through what TOMB is and demonstrate how it works is by going through the official documentation. The TOMB algorithmic token, so this is the token that powers TOMB Finance, serves as the backbone of a rapidly growing ecosystem aimed towards bringing liquidity and use cases to the Opera network. So if you don't know what the TOMB token is, it's a token that's algorithmically pegged to the Fantom token. So if Fantom goes from $2 to $3, theoretically TOMB should track Fantom's price from $2 to $3, as the protocol's underlying mechanism dynamically adjusts TOMB's supply, pushing its price up or down relative to the price of Fantom. Remember, TOMB is not pegged to a stablecoin, it's pegged to the price of Fantom, as TOMB believes in the value of the Fantom Opera network and has aligned its mission to both provide value to and derive value from Fantom's future growth. So what this enables you to do now is, since you have these TOMB tokens, it frees up liquidity. Since a lot of Fantom tokens are staked, having this liquid token in TOMB allows you to open up multiple possibilities in the Fantom network, and this is what TOMB Finance is taking advantage of. So I want to just break down the individual tokens on the TOMB Finance website to help you guys understand how the protocol works a little better. So firstly, obviously, we have the TOMB token, which is designed as a medium of exchange. As we said, it's one-to-one pegged to Fantom. This peg obviously changes depending on supply and demand, but TOMB has an algorithmic mechanism in order to keep the price relatively similar to the price of Fantom. If the TOMB price runs higher than Fantom, let's say 2 to 1 Fantom, that's a lot better than if the TOMB price drops below Fantom, because it's easier to bring the TOMB price down to the Fantom price than it is to bring it from below to up through issuing T-bonds, but we're going to get into how that works. So T-shares are one of the ways to measure value of the TOMB protocol. Obviously, the more successful the protocol is, the higher the value of T-share. We've actually seen T-share perform really well recently, as the TOMB protocol has been operating really well. We've seen the TOMB price over the last 90 days really skyrocket down from like $4,000 all the way up to its peak of $23,000. It's sitting at $19,000 at the moment. Harry Ye said, and obviously he's the leader of TOMB and TOMB's biggest backer, he said that he wants the TOMB price to be akin to Yearn Finance, which would mean it could potentially hit $31,000. He also said that he is hoping for the TOMB peg to run 2 to 1 Fantom, so if Fantom is $5, he wants the TOMB peg to be roughly $10. That would mean the protocol is a lot more sustainable in the long run, meaning we can offer better returns to TOMB holders. T-shares are the governance token of TOMB, so they have voting rights on proposals to improve the protocol. So the more T-shares you own, the more power you have over voting on the protocol. It has a maximum total supply of 70,000 tokens. It had a DAO allocation and a team allocation. Eventually T-share will stop printing, but for now we're still going strong. When T-share stops printing, it will still have additional utility, so that isn't something to worry about in my opinion. Now you're probably wondering, well, what happens if the TOMB price, so you know how the TOMB price is pegged to Fantom, what happens if that price significantly dips underneath the Fantom price? And basically how TOMB keeps the peg stable is via offering TOMB bonds. So TOMB bonds help incentivize changes in TOMB supply during an epoch contraction period. So when the TWAP time-weighted average price of TOMB falls below 1 Fantom, T-bonds are issued and can be bought with TOMB at the current price. So the TWAP time-weighted average price basically means it's taking the average price of TOMB, it's weighted against a specific period in time, and that basically dictates whether they offer T-bonds in order to get the TOMB price back up to peg. So the way it works, and I'll try to explain it simply, is you can exchange TOMB for T-bonds when the TOMB tokens are below peg, which burns TOMB TOMB supply. Obviously, when you're burning TOMB supply, what's happening is that's driving the price up. So we can get the TOMB supply through burning TOMB tokens back up to the peg to reach the same amount as Fantom. What happens is these T-bonds can then be redeemed for TOMB when the price is above peg in the future, which puts an extra incentive for the longer they are held above the peg. So you're incentivized to hold your T-bonds for longer. So then when you redeem them, you can redeem more TOMB and you can make a bigger profit. So basically, to summarize, when TOMB is below the Fantom price, TOMB Finance issues T-bonds. You can swap your TOMB for T-bonds. And then when the TWAP, or the time-weighted average price of TOMB, comes back up to peg, you can exchange your T-bonds for TOMB. And obviously you make a profit in the difference. So that is why you're incentivized to buy T-bonds. So it's a pretty smart mechanism. Obviously, Harry Ye is a major backer. So I want to make this point that he's a multi-millionaire, if not a billionaire. He has a lot of finances to pump into keeping the protocol sustainable. What he's actually been doing is buying up T-bonds when the TOMB price drops significantly below the Fantom price. We've seen him come in with a mass amount of liquidity to keep the protocol sustainable. So one of the things, TOMB actually had a gatekeeper exploit months ago, before Harry took over, and the price of TOMB crashed way below peg. What Harry did was he actually took over the protocol, he refreshed the team, he refreshed TOMB's vision and branding, and he came in with huge financial backing to actually ensure the sustainability of the protocol. Now, long term, what this means is you have a big financial backer, which is Harry. So you're basically, when you're betting on TOMB doing well, or you're buying T-shares, you're basically betting on Harry, right? If you trust Harry, then you've got nothing to worry about. I think we're in very good hands with Harry Ye as the big financial backer. Before I actually show you how to stake and how to get involved in TOMB, we're going to run through some frequently answered questions, because before you put your money somewhere, it's always important to go through all the research, and hopefully this video gets you thinking about the TOMB Finance structure a little bit more and helps explain what TOMB Finance does and how it works, so you can make better educated decisions when it comes to actually investing in TOMB. So that's the goal of this video, to educate you guys on TOMB before you invest, instead of just blindly aping into buying T-shares or TOMB Fantom LP. So just to go over the mechanism again, because obviously this entire protocol is sustained by the algorithm's ability to keep the peg to Fantom. So if TOMB is over peg, you can buy TOMB and pair it with Fantom to provide liquidity. So obviously if TOMB is over peg, this means they can print more TOMB to bring the TOMB price down to the Fantom price. So it's a good position to be in when TOMB is worth more than Fantom, because then you can pair it with Fantom to provide liquidity, stake your TOMB Fantom LP in the cemetery to earn T-share rewards. When the TWAP is over 1, this means that you can stake your T-share rewards in the Masonry to earn inflationary TOMB rewards. So you can stake your T-shares and you can earn more TOMB. I'm going to go through all this and break it down step by step for you after we run through this document. If TOMB's under peg, you can buy TOMB and exchange it for T-bond. If you're LPing, you can actually break the LP, so your Fantom TOMB LP, and exchange your TOMB for T-bond. Use the remaining of your Fantom to buy TOMB and also exchange it for T-bond. So that is one strategy to maximize when Fantom is under peg. When you have a big fat bag of T-bond, you've also helped bring TOMB back above peg, so you're actually helping out the protocol. Another way to take advantage of these dips is by buying T-shares, because obviously the price of T-shares drops because T-shares actually don't print TOMB. So when the TWAP is under 1, so when the TOMB price is under the price of Fantom, T-shares don't print. The cemetery still prints, the Masonry doesn't print. So meaning people are incentivized to actually sell their T-shares for T-bonds as well. So you can take advantage by buying T-shares if you want to be really cheeky. There's a lot more of questions in this document, but I'll let you go and I'll link them in the description. I'll let you read through them yourself, because I want to get straight into TOMB Finance, get into the nitty gritty and show you guys how to take advantage. So now I'm going to run you through the protocol on the website and explain how to actually use TOMB Finance to make a profit. After we run through how to stake on TOMB Finance, I'll be going through an in-depth tutorial of how to stake. So right now we're just going to go through some maths. I'm going to show you how the protocol works, do a little more explanation, and then afterwards I'm going to run you through on your MetaMask how to actually get involved, and I'm going to run you through step by step. So we can go to the TOMB Finance website. On the homepage, you're going to see there's multiple options here. You've got TOMB Fantom Spooky LP and TSHARE Fantom Spooky LP. So pretty much you combine your Fantom tokens with TOMB tokens, you create an LP token, which you can then use to provide liquidity to these vaults. And that's how you earn a reward. So you're earning a reward of the protocol revenue. Obviously, TOMB Finance is generating revenue, which is then distributed to stakers to pay their APYs. That's how they actually pay rewards, in addition to printing excess TOMB. So over time, more and more TOMB is printed, which is how they're able to actually pay you out. In order to stop the negative effects of inflation, they've got additional utility coming in the future, but also you're highly incentivized to stake. You're highly incentivized to come in here and stake and keep staking, which is how the protocol sustains itself. So if you go onto the cemetery and you click TOMB Fantom LP, this is the page where you can actually stake your TOMB Fantom. If we come into TOMB Fantom LP, we can see that the current APR is 129.19%. This means you're earning 129% per year if you stake your TOMB Fantom LP. When you stake your LP, you're actually receiving T-shares in exchange. So you're not receiving more TOMB, you're receiving T-shares. When you have these T-shares, you have a choice. You can take these T-shares and stake them, or you can sell them off. So you can just take your T-shares as soon as you get them, you can sell them for more TOMB Fantom LP. So if you look at this APR, it's actually 129.18%. So if we take that rate, rounding up to 130%, if you compound this weekly, meaning every week you come in, you sell your T-shares, you buy more Fantom TOMB LP, you're actually making an effective APY of 261% per annum. So you're making a lot more than this amount if you're compounding, and that is the value of compounding your tokens, right? If you put in $10,000 and you're compounding it weekly at 130% APR, you're actually making $26,100 instead of making $12,900 like you would be following the APR. Now, if you want to make an even bigger return, instead of selling these T-shares every week or every day, depending on how often you choose to compound, you can take these T-shares, claim them, and actually click on the Masonry. And once you're in the Masonry, you can add your T-shares here and you can earn TOMB. So let's just run through this again. You're putting up TOMB Fantom LP, you're receiving T-shares, you're then taking those T-shares, you're staking them into the Masonry. Click up here on Masonry, you're staking your T-shares and you're earning more TOMB. Obviously, now that you're earning more TOMB, you can now break half of this TOMB, swap it for Fantom, and then you can combine it into an LP. I'm going to run you exactly how to do that after I just run through the protocol here. You can make an LP and you can put it back into the cemetery. So you've got this continuous loop of earning T-shares, staking T-shares, and earning TOMB. Now, one thing to note is you'll only get a return on your T-shares via printing TOMB if the TOMB price or the TWAP is above 1. So this means the peg has to be above 1 relative to Fantom in order to print T-share. So you're getting a massive APR of 231, but you're not actually getting this at all times. So your effective APR is lower because obviously there'll be times during the month where TWAP is under 1 and T-bonds are being issued. But what you actually can do is then sell some of your TOMB Fantom LP, as we discussed before, and buy T-bonds, so you're continuously profiting. And that's the power of the protocol. So if we do the calculations on 232% as you're earning on T-share, that's actually an effective APY of 867% APY, which is just nuts. That's how much you're earning. You're basically almost earning a 10x. You're earning more than 1,000% if theoretically you come in, you stake your TOMB Fantom LP for TOMB, and you go into the Masonry and you stake your T-shares to earn more TOMB because of the loop, and because you're earning compound interest on this APR and you're earning compound interest on this APR, you're making a lot of money. You're basically making a 10x every year, but that assumes that TOMB is always printing, which it's not, as we just explained. So obviously there will be times where it's not printing. Also, the T-share price is a lot more risky than the TOMB price. Since the TOMB price is pegged to Fantom, I would say it's a lot safer than T-share, which potentially has more room to come down, as T-share's price is reliant on people's faith in the protocol and willingness to sustain T-share staking. Obviously, there's also auto compounding, which I'll elaborate on later in this video, which means you can auto compound, so you don't need to come in every day or every week and compound your rewards, but that will actually sell T-shares, because the auto compounders, they don't bother staking T-shares. The auto compounders are focused on just Fantom TOMB LP, so they'll automatically sell your T-shares and reinvest. So that is how to stake on TOMB Finance. Now I'm actually going to run you through how to do it physically, so you know exactly how to go through the process of staking on TOMB. So the first thing you need to do is set up a MetaMask account. I'm going to link a video in the description where I go through how to set up a MetaMask and buy Fantom, how to stake, how to bridge, and how to approve transactions on your MetaMask. So in this video, I'm not going to be going through that because it will take too much time, but in the description, I have a beginner's guide to buying and swapping Fantom, which will help you in the process of setting up a MetaMask, etc. So I'm going to assume you know how to do these steps in this video. As I said, link in the description to that video. So you want to set up your MetaMask, deposit Fantom, and now it's time to create an LP. Obviously, to stake your Fantom in TOMB Finance, you need to have a TOMB Fantom LP, which is this, which means you need to swap half of your Fantom for TOMB, and then you need to bond those two tokens together to provide liquidity, and in exchange, you receive LP tokens. So they're actually bonded together, which means the pool is constantly rebalancing your tokens, so impermanent loss does become a factor. If you don't know what impermanent loss is with an LP, it's the opportunity cost that you lose via having your tokens locked into an LP rather than just holding them separately in a wallet. So if TOMB goes up 2x to the Fantom peg, however, the price of Fantom stays the same, obviously you're going to have a tiny bit of impermanent loss as a tiny bit of your TOMB is sold off to buy more Fantom automatically from LP rebalancing. So that's how LPs work. So impermanent loss isn't how much you're losing, but it's the opportunity cost between holding Fantom itself or holding TOMB itself or LPing them together. So the impermanent loss there's an impermanent loss calculator, which I'll link in the description to calculate the exact scenario in how much opportunity cost you lose. But just off the top of my head, you lose around 5% of potential profits if TOMB goes 2-to-1 Fantom. But you're earning, like as we just showed you, crazy APRs like 200, 300, 500, 1,000% plus APYs on TOMB Finance, so you're more than offsetting a tiny bit of impermanent loss. So I don't think it's a huge concern in this case, but it's something that I should note when considering LP tokens. So now I'm going to show you how to actually create TOMB Fantom LP on SpookySwap. So you want to go onto SpookySwap.finance/swap. You want to take some of your Fantom and you want to swap it for TOMB. So what we're actually doing is you're swapping half of your Fantom for TOMB so we can combine them both together. So if we click 50% here, we can switch this for TOMB and we can click swap. So you'll have to approve the token, and I'll just enter my password really quick. You have to approve the swap and confirm it in your MetaMask wallet. So what'll happen is as soon as this transaction goes through, you're going to have now 50% TOMB and 50% Fantom, because remember, we have to provide liquidity. So on SpookySwap, you go into the liquidity tab, you put ingredient A Fantom, ingredient B TOMB, select how much you want, and you can click supply liquidity. So what we're doing now is we're combining Fantom and TOMB together to supply them into an LP. So it's super simple. You swap half of your Fantom for TOMB under the swap tab, then you go to liquidity, you combine ingredient A with ingredient B, and you process that LP. So now you have LP tokens. So now you've got your LP tokens from supplying liquidity. You can look in the My Potions section, and under My Potions, here it'll show you how many LP tokens you have. So if you ever want to retract liquidity from the LP and you want to get your Fantom back, get your TOMB back to swap back into Fantom or back into TOMB, you can come in here to My Potions, you can click on this, and you can click withdraw. So this is how you can withdraw your supply. But once you've got supply, we can go back into TOMB Finance, we can click on the symmetry, and now you've got TOMB Fantom LP that you can actually use to click add here. You click max or however many you want to deposit, click confirm. Then in your MetaMask, it'll prompt you to confirm. There'll be a small gas fee in Fantom, so make sure you have enough gas to cover the transaction cost. And now you've successfully deposited TOMB Fantom LP. I don't have any rewards to claim, but as we can see from the APR to APY calculator, the difference between a weekly compound and a daily compound is actually pretty small. Like, that's not a huge difference. So you're not actually giving up much factoring in gas fees, doing it weekly. So just in order to take a bit of stress off, I would honestly just compound weekly because there's not a huge difference. But if you're a degen like me and you want to compound daily to get that extra few percent, you can do it daily, but there's not a huge difference. So you want to come in here, let's say every week, come in here and claim your TSHARE. Now, once you've claimed your TSHARE, as I explained before, you go to the Masonry, you click plus, and exactly just like we deposited TOMB, you want to deposit your claimed TSHARE and click confirm. Confirm it in your MetaMask wallet, and that will automatically stake TSHARE. What will happen is you'll start accruing TOMB through staking TSHARE. So just to clarify, you're staking your TOMB Fantom LP, then you claim your TSHARE, then you deposit your TSHARE here once a week, and then you click claim reward. Once you've got TOMB, you can go back into Spooky Swap. You can go onto swap, and just like we did before, this time you'll be swapping half of your TOMB back to Fantom. So swap 50% of your TOMB for Fantom and click swap, because obviously you receive your rewards in TOMB, but in order to LP them, you need to provide liquidity, just like I showed you before. So you swap half of your rewards back into Fantom, and then on liquidity, you can supply Fantom and TOMB together. It doesn't matter what order you put this in, but provide them together, ingredient A and ingredient B, and supply, and then you can come back into TOMB after you've claimed your rewards from the Masonry, go back into the cemetery, and add your new TOMB Fantom LP. It's very, very simple. It might sound daunting at first, but once you get used to it, just get into the routine of doing it every day or every week, however often you want to do it, and you can do it like this. Now, this strategy is for someone that wants exposure to TSHAREs. Obviously, you're getting exposure to TSHAREs because you're earning your TOMB rewards via staking your TSHAREs. Some people may want to go with a lower risk approach. Obviously, this will pay a lesser APY, but what you can actually do is instead of taking your TSHAREs and putting it in the Masonry, you can claim your TSHARE. And as soon as you claim your TSHARE every week, you can come into swap on Spooky Swap, enter in TSHARE, and you can swap it straight back for TOMB or Fantom. So you can just swap your TSHARE back for TOMB, and then you can use this TOMB to create an LP to then restake in here. So you don't even need to bother about the Masonry if you only want to stack Fantom TOMB LP. You can just sell off your TSHAREs and just compound on the cemetery. The benefits to the Masonry is you're getting the extra APY, but obviously the risk is that the TSHARE price fluctuates a lot more than the TOMB price, and it doesn't always print. So if you don't know, the TOMB Fantom LP always prints in the cemetery. It's a linear printing. It'll print TSHAREs in a linear fashion, which you can then sell for TOMB. Whereas the Masonry, it only prints when the TWAP is above 1. So when the TOMB price is above 1-to-1 Fantom price, which means you're not always earning your APR in the Masonry, but you are in the cemetery. So you just need to work out what your risk tolerance is and what your priority is. I personally split it 50-50. I do half of my tokens that I redeem back for TOMB Fantom LP, and then I use half of my tokens to stake TSHARE. That way I'm getting the upside of the higher APR in the Masonry, but I'm also getting the stability and the linear APR from the cemetery using the TOMB Fantom LP. But you've got another option, and this is to use auto compounding. So what auto compounding will do is it'll cut out you having to come in here every day and every week and doing all these steps, spending gas to do these steps. You can go straight to Reaper Farm or straight to Beefy Finance. What they'll do is they'll automatically, every time they receive rewards in TOMB Fantom LP, they'll automatically sell off TSHAREs to buy more Fantom TOMB LP, and they'll just keep compounding. So if we go into Reaper Farm, this is one of my favorite websites to stake TOMB Fantom LP. You can see, you could search up TOMB. You see the LPs here. It's paying 244% per annum, which is pretty much in line with what you get from TOMB. So what you can do is you can just do the exact same steps as we did from TOMB Finance, go into Spooky, provide liquidity, come into Reaper, and you can deposit your LP. I'm pretty sure you can also just zap in Fantom or TOMB, so you don't even need to do the liquidity providing on Spooky Swap. Someone was telling me they were having issues with their zapping, so honestly, I would just do the LP, pay a bit of gas and do it manually, but you can also zap in for Fantom or TOMB. As something to note, you may just want to do a tester before just to test that works, but I definitely know you can deposit LP into this vault to receive 254% per year. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to compound. They will automatically compound this for you. Really easy, really simple. Now you might be thinking, wow, if they're going to auto compound this for me, why bother doing it myself through TOMB if I have to pay gas and I got to spend 5 minutes a week doing it when I can just auto compound? And obviously you're adding an extra layer of risk by using an auto compounder. So since Reaper has access to your funds and they're delegating them to TOMB to generate rewards, what can actually happen is if Reaper somehow got exploited and their vaults got drained, then what could happen is you can lose your Fantom TOMB LP. For the sake of convenience of auto compounding, you're adding an extra layer of risk. Personally, I'm not fully convinced that it's actually worth the extra layer of risk just to save a few minutes a week. Like honestly, spending the extra couple dollars a week worth of gas and the the extra 10 minutes a week worth of time to manually compound. One, it's kind of fun to do, but two, you're also not getting the extra layer of risk. So that's one argument against Reaper, but I know a lot of people do like the convenience, and you've got a secondary option, which is Beefy Finance. Beefy Finance also offers a Fantom Tomb Vault. If you switch to the Fantom app, you can search up on their list of pools for Tomb, and it'll come up with the vault here, which is obviously paying pretty similar to Reaper, 254% APY. They automatically compound. So this is another option. Reaper's another option. I think both protocols are fairly safe in terms of the research I've done, but do your own research. And if you do choose to go with an auto compounder, make sure you do your research there. Obviously, as I mentioned before, you're not getting exposure to T-shares through auto compounders because they're automatically selling them and they're buying more Fantom Tomb LP. So if you want more exposure to T-shares to get that higher APR, you might want to consider doing it yourself through Tomb Finance. Or if you want to use a compounder for T-share, you can go into Grim Finance. Unfortunately, Grim Finance got hacked a few months ago, but I know they've done a lot of security upgrades since then. However, still be wary. Obviously, they were exploited. I lost funds in the exploit. I know a lot of you guys did as well. But if you go into T-share, you can actually auto compound for 900% APY in the TSHARE Masonry. So they're doing the opposite of what Reaper and Beefy are doing. They're actually selling your tomb to buy more T-share, so you're getting the higher APY. This is another option for people that want an auto compounder for T-share. But I've given you 3 auto compounding options through Reaper Farm, Beefy Finance, and Grim Finance. Remember, all of these are secondary protocols, so you are assuming more risk for the convenience of auto compounding. You have to weigh out whether it's worth it. Honestly, I don't know if it is worth it. That's also partly because I'm still a bit burnt from the fact I got hacked from Grim Finance, so I'm extra wary these days. But if you spread your risk across multiple protocols, have a bit in Reaper, have a bit in Beefy, have a bit in Tomb, you probably are safe. But then that obviously begs the question, why not just have it all in Tomb? So that's also something for you to weigh up. My summary on the video is my thoughts on Tomb Finance. I think it's a great protocol. I think Harry has done an amazing job of taking over Tomb. I've done some sustainability work on looking at how sustainable it is, and we look like we have a pretty good medium to long-term runway here. In terms of long-term, we obviously don't know how it will play out, so do your own research. This video is not financial advice. There's always a risk when using DeFi protocols. Consider the risks to make sure you don't get burnt, and obviously spread your risk accordingly. But I really like Tomb Finance. I like Harry Ye a lot, and I think it is a great protocol to earn yield on your Fantom. It's a pretty attractive opportunity to be able to earn yield on a direct Fantom peg. I mean, that's just awesome. Just thinking about it that way, like, it's pretty crazy and hasn't been seen before. Obviously, now we have a lot of Tomb forks coming out, which I'll actually cover in a future video. But Tomb Finance is the OG, and I really like what they're doing. And they're sucking mass liquidity into the Fantom ecosystem, which is only bullish for Fantom long term. Obviously, consider the risks. And my strategy is to diversify risk a little. I do have a little bit in auto compounders. I have a bit in Tomb Finance, and I just like to spread it around a bit. I don't put all my Fantom in. So if, say, you have $1,000 worth of Fantom, I don't put all 1,000 into Tomb. I probably only have less than 50% of my total Fantom allocation in Tomb Finance or Tomb Finance auto compounders, because if something happens to Tomb, I don't want to have all my eggs in one basket. So I definitely spread my Fantom around, but this is one of the best, if not the best, options for staking your Fantom, and that's why it's become so popular. I think it's the second top or the top DApp in the Fantom ecosystem by TVL, so it's hugely popular. I know Harry is very popular as well, and I really like the Tomb Finance website. I think it is brilliant, and I'm a big fan. But obviously, do your own research into the risks. Hopefully, this video was able to show you how to stake, gave you a little more insight into Tomb Finance and how it works. If you got some value from this video, make sure to subscribe and smash the thumbs up button. If you've got the notification bell turned on, that's very good for you, because I'll be constantly covering new DeFi updates in the Fantom ecosystem, and I'll be covering everything crypto, everything Fantom. So I'm really excited for you guys to be on this journey with me. So make sure you are checking in for all the new videos. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you got some value from it. Have a lovely day or night, and peace out.